So hello and welcome. This is the 2026 Growing School Gardens Summit Discover and Learn webinar, when you'll be able to learn all about the upcoming summit, what's new, and key deadlines. My name is Tristana Burkle. I'm the Executive Director of the School Garden Support Organization-Network. And while we're hosting this webinar, we get to work with two other amazing partners to put on the summit, namely the Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundation, who is the main host of the event, and LifeLab. Today, John Fisher, Education Director for LifeLab, is here, and he'll be sharing in just a bit. This webinar will be recorded and shared via email on our website after the close of the webinar, as well as a copy of the slides. We'll be providing an overview of the event, and then we'll leave time for questions. As questions come up, please just put them in the chat or in the Q&A section. Or do we have a Q&A section? I'm not sure. Yes, we do have a Q&A section. So either one is great. And we'll be answering them at the end. Now I'm going to pass it off to my colleague, Daniel Barrera Ortega, Program Specialist for the SGSO Network, to give an overview of what happened at the last summit.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Tristana. Hi, everybody. I'll introduce myself too. My name is Daniel Barrera Ortega, as Tristana mentioned, and I'm the Program Specialist here at the SGSO Network. And super excited to share with you all everything, both today in today's webinar about the summit in general, as well as give you a taste of what happened at the 2024 summit. So just to give you an idea of what the summit really tries to accomplish, is the Growing School Garden Summit is a gathering to inform, inspire, and invigorate the school garden movement. What did that look like in 2024? Let's take a look. Next slide, please. So the summit features an amazing array of speakers for our main stage. And these are both speakers that are key partners with powerful stories, as well as stories from the field. In 3.5 days, we had 31 lightning talks and speakers in total. So that is a lot of stories, a lot of communication of what's happening to really inspire everybody. Next slide, please. Not only that, but as if anyone has attended before, this is a really participant-led summit. This looks like having extracurriculars on the day that we get there, like the very famous song circle. It's kind of a tradition at this point. We had tea making, and we had participant-led exercises every morning of the summit, and a really fun barn dance at the end. You like contra dancing. We did some of that. And there may be some dancing in the summit, in the 2026 summit too. We will find out. We can keep going. Most importantly, the summit really features peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-peer connections. We're teaching each other what our best practices are, or what curriculums we use, how we do things from cooking to gardening. We had about 43 workshops, and that also included 13, in addition to 13 field trips and 19 cooking and gardening demonstrations. These are all hands-on experiences from educators to educators, from program leaders to program leaders, how we are doing things, how we can learn from each other. Next slide, please. And most importantly, this is really an opportunity for us to connect at a national level. It's the only conference that focuses on school gardening in the country. So the food is amazing. Very important. We network over food. We had 17 peer learning community. We had 17 opportunities for peer learning communities, as well as affinity groups, to really connect, as well as networking in structured and in very informal ways. And we also had some mentor and mentee programming happening. So matching really folks that are looking for mentoring, are newer to the field, to folks that have more experience. Again, really trying to disperse the knowledge throughout the garden movement, so as to strengthen it and gain momentum. So that is just a taste of what you can expect from the summit. This is what happened in 2024. And now we're going to look forward and learn more about what to expect in 2026. So I'm going to pass it to the amazing John Fisher from LifeLab.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. My name is John Fisher. I work with LifeLab. We are a 45-year-old nonprofit that's trained tens of thousands of educators in garden-based education. And this summit is being brought to you by the LifeLab and the School Garden Support Organization Network. We are planning partners, and it's being underwritten or hosted by the Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundation of the Sprouts grocery store. And how did this come about? Well, Sprouts is funding organizations related to doing garden enhanced nutrition ed and healthy living. We met with them at one time and they were talking about creating a knowledge network. Like, how can we put together all the people that we fund in one place and swap stories? And that's been at the same time that I've been talking with my organization. It's like, it's time for a national conference. So here we are, we're coming to our third national School Garden Summit. We do them every other year. And on the next slide, we'll see that we are scheduled. And by now, you probably know it's going to be February 19th on the next slide, from February 19th to the 22nd. And we're running it this time in Phoenix, which is the home city of the Sprouts Farmers Market grocery store. So we got some great partnerships to share. And they found an incredible venue. So registration's open. Want to let you know that it's $550, and that includes all your meals. And all the programming and field trips are included, and that's all the way until the 17th of December. After the 17th, it's going to go up to $650, so make sure to get yourself enrolled. And those that have enrolled or those that will be enrolling, we are going to be sending you a survey to get your input on how to make the summit better. So for example, Daniel was saying, oh, we had singing circles and tea time and networking, and all of those things are part of what makes our summit special. We'll hear about those later, but be looking for that survey in the weeks to come. First summit we did 450 people, then we had 550 people. We're looking for 700 people. In the chat or in the participant list, I see a lot of folks that I recognize, so hopefully you'll be coming back. And for you new folks, hopefully we can answer your questions and you'll be encouraged to come. So the next slide shares a little bit about our venue. We're going to be at the Arizona Grand Resort. It's 10 minutes from the airport in Arizona. We have discounted room for nonprofits, and that includes your resort fee. And we're on this incredible property that has like 20 swimming pools and a water slide and a full gym and it's beautiful palm trees. And we're going to be in great weather in February. So really, really encourage folks to book at our hotel. It's kind of a very, very unique venue. It's going to allow us to have indoor and outdoor and cooking classroom sessions throughout. So we'll talk a little bit more about the agenda. So the next slide shares a little bit about who brings this all together. So our summit is put together by an incredible group of people. So we have our peers, educators, nonprofit leaders, folks from school districts, all joining together to create our content, to review our scholarships, to curate our cooking classrooms and our field trips. If you go on our About page at schoolgardensummit.org and click on the About page, you could kind of see these people in detail. But this is a little bit different than a lot of summits because we're very much peer kind of powered in terms of who puts this on. So we'll go to the next slide and jump into a little bit about the agenda. And I do want to remind you all, if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat or the Q&A function, and we'll get to those at the end. So looking at our agenda, it starts on Thursday, late day. So midday, 2:45, we're going to have a welcome reception and then our open general session and going into dinner. And then in the evening, we're going to have our extracurriculars, which are peer-led activities. Friday and Saturday are full days where we're going to have something new we're bringing as concurrent panels. We recognize from the past summit that folks are coming in different scaled organizations. Like I manage one school garden or I manage a statewide network. So we're going to have a general session on thriving school garden panels that are scale alike based on the scale that you're operating. So that's something new we're bringing. We'll have a great dinner, have some networking in the evening. And then on the following day, Saturday, there's field trips. We also recognize not everybody wants to go on a field trip or expend that much time. So we also have deep dive sessions where you could stay on site and maybe less time to engage in learning and then also have some time to do your emails. Something new we're bringing on Saturday as well is really scheduling time for folks to just walk in the desert mountain reserve that's next to the hotel or slide down the water slide or go in the lazy river and talk to your peers. So we really want you to enjoy the site and then have some good times for net walking and talking. That evening, we're going to highlight some youth chef program, and then probably have some sort of like salsa merengue dancing in the evening. We haven't secured that yet. Sunday is a half day, and people leave by lunch. So moving on the slides here, you can go on our website and see that we have different types of session types that are on our website, and our themes. We expanded our themes to reach more of our audience. So I encourage you to go to our agenda overview page on our website and check out those themes. Next slide. Our keynote this year is Radha Agarwal. She's the co-founder and CEO of Daybreaker, which is this incredible morning dance experience. And she also talks about building and bringing community to your space. And that will be our keynote on Saturday morning, or on Friday morning of our general session. So that will be quite exciting. The next slide shows some of the incredible field trip venues that we have. We're going to be visiting school gardens. We have an urban farm field trip, cooking classrooms and cooking kitchen programs. And we actually have a pre-conference add-on where folks, if they can get there early on Thursday or probably the night before, take a bus ride to Tucson and see the incredible program, the School Garden Workshop with Tucson Unified, and the Monzo Elementary School Garden and the new Sprouts House. So lots of learning outside of the hotel is happening as well. So with that, I'm going to pass off the mic to Tristana, and she's going to talk about the networking opportunities that we're going to be bringing to this event.
Thanks so much, John. So as John shared, the SGSO Network is in charge of supporting all of the networking activities at Summit. Another way of just saying all the places you might want to connect with others, make a new friend or colleague that can support you in your school garden work. We also support with communication and getting the word out, as well as continuing education activities after the summit to keep the learning and the connections going, so that the event isn't just a one-time thing, but something that sustains your work beyond the event. As an organization, the SGSO Network, if you don't know us, is an open, free, peer-to-peer learning network for school garden professionals operating at any level, from individual schools to regional to state to national. And outside of the summit, we organize a variety of in-person and virtual networking events. So at the 2026 summit, we're bringing back all of the popular networking opportunities that we had at previous summits, including the ability to sit with folks based on your role and your region at various meal times, morning movements such as yoga, group walks or runs, extracurricular activities that was previously mentioned, on the first night especially to connect with folks in a kind of a more social setting, affinity group meetups based on your personal identities, mentor and mentee connections, pairing mentors with folks who are new to school garden who are new school garden professionals, and the opportunity to easily connect with people after the summit, and keep the learning going in a 6-month webinar series. New this year, as John shared, we're setting aside a whole kind of section of our schedule on that Saturday just for networking. We're going to create spaces for peer learning communities to meet up or create new ones. Peer learning communities are virtual groups that the SGSO Network runs that meet based on shared roles, focus areas, or topics. During this kind of time in the schedule, we'll also have a series of facilitated solution sessions, diving into challenges based on specific themes and engaging in group process to propose solutions. Or it might just be a time that you want to go and, like John said, enjoy the resort with your new friends. In addition, we're creating time for folks to connect based on the scale of the school garden support they offer, whether that means you support an individual school garden or 5 school gardens or a whole state worth of school gardens. You'll be able to connect with people who operate at a similar scale, sit at lunch and network with them after that panel that John mentioned. And then we also wanted to be sure that you knew about our scholarship application, which is focused on supporting folks who face disproportionate barriers to being able to attend the summit. The scholarship is for a full registration of $550 or full registration plus a $300 travel stipend. The application is due on October 31st. Notifications will be sent November 18th. And then you'll be required to register with your scholarship code almost a month later by December 15th. So just wanted to make sure that those dates and that information was top of mind for you. Please share the scholarship opportunity with anyone that you feel would benefit. And now I'm going to pass it off to Daniel to run our Q&A. I see that we've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, we've got a few questions. So thank you, folks. And absolutely continue dropping your questions as they come up. If the question lives in your head, it probably lives in someone else's as well. So for the first question, somebody asked, I'm a PhD student and my focus is on youth education, but in a public health setting. I was given three large garden beds in a clinic in Arizona and wanted to see if this would be a good opportunity to attend, even if I'm not directly tied to a school teaching kids.
John, you want to handle that one?
Yeah. So we primarily focus on folks that are doing garden enhanced nutrition education, but we have had attendees that are doing health and wellness through cooking type programs or gardening programs that don't happen in a school. So some of our attendees aren't actually hands-on teaching kids. Some are managing programs. They're program managers, executive directors, folks that work for foundations and make programs happen. So if you go onto our website and you look at our about page in our 2024 and 2022 summit summaries, you can see the breakdown of organization type people or the roles. And so we have all types of roles, but I would say the primary type of role are educators and those that manage garden-based programs. But that doesn't mean we won't turn you away if you're supporting those programs in a different type of role.
Awesome. Thank you, John. The next question is it possible to just go for one day, to go to one day or one event? I am in Tucson and would like to join the first event, but my team will be attending the conference.
Yes, so we do not have one-day tickets. It's for the whole summit, but I will say that in San Diego and in Denver on the very last day, we did invite local folks. So it all depends on how our registration numbers go. So we do not have single-day tickets.
It might be helpful for this particular person to reach out to us and we can, see what's available based on registration. We didn't share this, but our last two summits have all sold out a month before and we've had an extensive waiting list. So we just want to give priority to the folks who can attend the full conference if they'd like to.
Awesome. So the next question, they said, this sounds great. It is a great summit. Thank you. And what are the criteria for scholarships?
Yeah, so our criteria for scholarships, we're looking at people that face barriers to attend. So that might be individuals that have particular identities or life or work experiences that are unrepresented in the field of garden education. We also look at the populations that you work with. So in the scholarship questions, it asks who are the students that you work with? And then we also look at your ability to actually teach children. So a part of the scholarship selection committee looks at, does this individual have the ability to actually take the learning and share that learning with students? So we're looking for those that are actually working with students. And then we're also looking, another criteria we look at is the scholarship applicant have the ability to share beyond just themselves? So sometimes people come and say, like, I'm going to train my staff. And so points are given to that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, John. The next question is, and I believe it was already answered in the chat, but just to elevate it for everybody, if the hotel costs that were displayed on the slides were per night. And yes, the hotel is $260 per night for nonprofit educators. And then John, you pointed out that all rooms are 2-room suites with a master bedroom and a living room with a pull-out bed.
Correct.
So going on to the next question is, I think this one also you answered in the chat as well. How many folks would the scholarship cover? One or two, and the scholarships are awarded on an individual basis. So thank you for answering that. Can multiple people from the same organization receive a scholarship?
Yeah. That it when we're reviewing our scholarships, we're blind to the organization or the people. So the scores come out without knowing who the organizations are. Um, so so if you have an organization with two people that were worthy through the scoring criteria, then they would be on the list to be invited for a scholarship.
Some. There's one more question, and then again, if you have any other questions, folks, continue to drop them in the chat. They keep coming in. I work at a preschool garden in the Bronx. Is the garden-based learning focused on the Southwest climate?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our attendees come from across the country, and so you could look at our past summits in 2022 and 2024 on our website under our About tab. And there's a map that shows where people came from in the top 12 states. So some people do come from colder climates for sure. I think it's like Wisconsin or Minnesota had a big representation in the past. When we do workshops, building a school garden, that will be taught by folks that are Southwestern gardeners. But the concepts of like building a bed and setting up irrigation systems and filling a bed, those are transferable to anyone that's building a children's garden.
Awesome.
But
Thank you.
our presenters are presenting from all different places. So some people might be presenting just on their reference of doing northern-based climate, gardening.
I think this is also a really great place to plug the Growing School Garden Summit webinar series. So if you'd like to get a taste for just what kind of presentations are at the summit, this is a really great place to kind of check out what you'll find and what you're talking about, transferable skills, even if they're around the garden. Dropping the link to that in the chat. There's another really interesting question around scholarships. Do you recommend that we wait to register if we're applying for a scholarship? Is there a chance that there won't be space by the November 18th release?
No, you will have space. If you're awarded a scholarship, we will let you know by November 18th, and then by then we will not sell out like on November 20th. So if you're not awarded a scholarship and you want to come even without a scholarship, we encourage you to register before our early bird rate disappears on December 17th. But usually we see the bulk of our, registration come in right before the early bird gets terminated, and closer to the date. So November 17th, there'll still be space available for sure. And then, I'm sorry, I read this question. I was just about to answer it.
Go for it.
Yeah, so the pre-conference field trip, we're still confirming the bus and the costs of that, but there will be a cost. It'll be around $50, but to be determined. That was kind of a later add-on, so we're getting the ticketing ready for that, and that will be a separate ticket that you buy. So you'll register, and then you'll have to register again to add that ticket on to do the pre-conference experience in Tucson. And that will be, like I said, it'll be Thursday morning. So you would most likely, if you don't live in the Phoenix area, you'd have to come in the night before on Wednesday night to be a part of the pre-conference field trip. And we're looking at capping that field trip to 40 folks. Great question. If you don't need a bus ride, then you probably could just jump in on your own, and there would still be a cost just because we don't have the ability to make separate tickets for everyone.
There's an add-on to that question. Do you have a cost for the pre-conference field trip? We just answered that. Also, what is the timeline for getting the schedule out?
Yeah, for the pre-conference field trip, we have a description that's posted on our website. All of our confirmed sessions, I'd say we have about 95% of our sessions confirmed, and they're all on our website. They don't necessarily have their time slots yet. It doesn't say like what day of the summit they'll be on, but there's a description and the presenters listed. And then the pre-conference field trip, within 2 weeks, we'll be announcing that, and the registration for that will go live. We're right now trying to get the hotel registration up, and then after that, the next thing will be ticketing for the pre-conference as we get our buses confirmed. But I've been told we've chosen our bus contract, our contractor, and we're finalizing the contract, so it should be within 2 weeks.
And to clarify, there will be a cost associated with the pre-conference gathering, even if they're for the pre-conference field trip, even if there isn't, even if they're not taking the bus.
Yeah. We'll have one ticketed price for that. We don't have the registration capacity to manage different ticket prices for different scenarios.
I think that is all of the questions that we have so far. So thank you all so much for being here and spending your where I am, it's your evening with us. Please do continue to reach out with any questions. And we do have a piece of homework for everybody that is here, that is watching it, and is to go onto the Summit website and check out this really amazing video for the Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundations. Really getting everybody excited with some testimonials from the 2024 School Garden Summit. So thank you. Thank you all so much. Sorry, there's one more question, and
I can answer that.
It's a very good question.
Yeah, so next to the hotel is a 20,000-acre wilderness preserve, and I bet there's birds that live on that mountain. South Mountain Reserve, you could look it up. I'm sure there's birds that live there.
What an amazing question. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was really great. But thank you all so much for being here again. Please check out this really amazing video by the Sprouts Healthy Communities Foundation. Get excited for the summit. You'll receive a follow-up in a couple days with some information, some relevant links, as well as the recording if you'd like to share with any of your colleagues. So yeah, thank you all so much.
Can we put the link to the video in the chat?
Yeah, I'm putting it right now.
I would, but I'm sharing my slides.
There you go,
Yep.
everybody. If you scroll down, you should be able to find it there. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you in February.